So what was your favorite song from your EP?
From my EP, I would say Stamina.
Sounds interesting.
Well, don't we love a man with stamina? I'm TeeTwerk. I'm a Swedish dancehall artist. So I come from Sweden, but I come down to Jamaica to do music, work with producers, videographers, and obviously the name TeeTwerk, twerking is a big part of me as well.
How long have you been in Jamaica?
Almost 5 years now, back and forth. So this is my 5th trip. And the first trip when I came down here, I stayed for 3 months, and music and dancing was the thing that brought me here mostly. But by the time I reached here the first time, I only had one song out. I started off with twerking actually. That's how all the TeeTwerk name came up, but it also came up thanks to music. But twerking was the main thing that I started back in late 2019. And then when COVID came, that's when I really got into it, and I was practicing a lot and became good at it. And then about in the fall of 2021, I think, so that's almost 2 years after I started twerking, I was introduced to the studio just randomly, because I was in a music video for a Jamaican artist over in Sweden, and we shot some scenes in the studio, and there was a producer there, big up Soundbank Music, famous, that called me to ask to come and twerk and perform at Jamaica Independence Day, because we have a festival in Sweden for that. And then he was like, "You're so talented, love your twerking." And then he was just making a joke, like, "Don't tell me you can sing as well." And I went quiet. He's like, "Hello?" I'm like, yeah, I think so. You know, a little bit shy, because I really, like, the only singing I've been doing is back home, basically in the shower, you know, this cliche thing. But yeah, I went to the studio and never looked back since.
Yeah.
And that's also when I decided to go to Jamaica. Since I aim to do dancehall music, I feel like I need to do it from the source.
When you were back in Sweden, you were doing dancehall, being in music videos and so on, but what really motivated you to come here to Jamaica? What made you feel like you could actually come and be successful here?
I just felt like growing up in Sweden is so different from Jamaica, right? Because here you are allowed to be sexy and fierce, and nobody is bothering you about it. So I felt a connection with doing the twerking, which is kind of a fierce thing to do, right? And quite explicit, especially from where I come from, even though it has grown over time. I just felt like something was drawing me to come down here and just be in this essence and develop myself and take classes with dancer and see what's up. Because I've been listening to dancehall music since 2010. So that, and alongside with me doing music and aiming to do dancehall music, I just felt drawn, like it's something I have to do, I have to go there.
What's the take on dancehall and feeling sexy in Sweden?
I think like the norm we have there is very squared, right? So anybody who steps out of the norm, people might be a little bit like, what's going on? Oh my God, she's crazy, she's doing that. But I think me being outside the norm now, stepping into that, and also today teaching twerk. So I have about 100 students weekly, female, dancing with me. I teach them how to twerk and help them to also become fearless of owning their sensual and sexual side and, you know, feminine energy.
I realized that you've also adopted the Jamaican accent, the patois, the way, you know, mannerisms and gestures. So I wanted to talk to you about the move. How does your family feel about it?
My family is very supportive. I'm actually, like, when I started twerking and when I started doing the type of music that I do, they have been supporting me. My brothers, my sister, my mom and my dad, and all my nephews and nieces. And I'm like, wow, I didn't count on that in the beginning, being from a country that's very squared, even though my family is not like that. We're more open and like, yeah, okay, cool, she's doing that. In Sweden, I feel like Matilda, and every time I come to Jamaica, I'm TeeTwerk. It's just a transition, you know? I just feel like I can be that without having to explain myself, even though I grow into being that in Sweden as well. But here it just comes naturally because I'm in the environment of it.
What were the music choices or genres that basically, you know, pull you in and to say, you know, someone really want to go to Jamaica?
Obviously, I've been listening to dancehall since 2010, so that's leading up to 15 years. Started off with Vibes Cartel and Mavado and yeah, yeah. Funny enough, I didn't understand a word those guys were singing about. I just liked the vibe and the rhythms and the energy the music gave. But then listening to it more and listening to more female artists like Shensia and Spice and Chanel Muir, it just felt they were inspiring me, and I'm like, I want to be a bad girl like that too, you know? Yeah. So I think because the first song I done is more like an R&B song, and my producer over in Sweden, he's from Jamaica, but he lives in Sweden and has his own studio there. And I told him after that song, I'm like, but this is not me. I want to do dancehall. He's like, really? I'm like, yeah, I want to do dancehall. He's like, okay, say less, let's go. So in some funny way, it just feels natural for me to do it. It might sound weird, but I just feel like my physical body was born in Sweden, but my soul is from here in a sense.
Yeah.
And it's like it's finding its way home, and I feel whole.
I want you to tell me about what you've done so far, your music names, and what we can expect to see.
Yeah. So I think up until now, because I've been doing music for 4 years, I think the first 3 years was just about finding my sound, my vocals, what kind of music I want to do, and I just been testing different things, leading more and more into dancehall, and dancehall coming from Jamaica and the source, and being quite raw and explicit about it, because I like that. It's funny. It's like I'm, you know, living out these fantasies and through my music. So the music I have been releasing, I think I have almost like 16 songs out. Last summer I released the EP of 6 songs, and that EP was kind of representing where I'm heading, which is, I would say I want to be a female Dexta Daps, you know? And bring that energy to Europe. So right now the music I'm doing is in that sexy genre of dancehall, but also more up-tempo twerk songs.
So what was your favorite song from your EP?
From my EP, I would say Stamina.
Sounds interesting.
Well, don't we love a man with stamina? Yeah, so more like that. It's very energetic, and yeah, you get energy from it, and I'm singing obviously about stamina, and I'm talking from a male perspective what I want, and more asking him like, do you got stamina?
And I'm sure you've been in the dancehall space, and I want you to tell me about how the reciprocation is from both men and women when them see you out there.
I feel the most feedback I get as of now has been from men, and very positive. They're like, you're dope, you're bad, and you know, they're giving me all that energy. And I do have females reaching out to me as well from Jamaica, and they follow me and they big me up and they say they love what I do and they love my music. So thank you for that. I appreciate it so much. The support I do get from Jamaica is amazing. Like, I have people here that do want to work with me, and it feels like the right path. So I just hope that Europe and the rest of the world will follow. That's the aim.
If you could bring one piece of Swedish culture to Jamaica and take Jamaican culture back to Swedish, what would it be?
One thing I would bring from Sweden is we love to be on time. You know? Yeah, which is nice because you know where you have people. You plan something and you know they're going to show up probably even before that time. Even though I'm adapting to the Jamaican timeline as well. But that's something I would bring here in terms of work, you know. But I find myself also, because in Sweden I'm always on time because everything works on time there. But when I'm here, I can also be 1 hour late. And I'm like, this is not even me. But when I'm here, to somehow adapt to it. And to bring something from Jamaica to Sweden, that would just be the vibes and the happiness and the energy. Because we need a little bit more of that.
But have there been moments where you thought about the decision of living here not being the best decision?
As of now, I do not live here. I travel back and forth. In my mind, I'm having an internal battle because it's so easy for me to work with the music here. You can literally just pull up to the studio every day, anytime, and people are ready to work. It's very easy and convenient. In Sweden, I have to travel more to go to the studio and plan more, even though, like, that's how the schedule works in Sweden, right? At the same time, I'm trying to bring more of dancehall to Europe, and I am from a country in Europe, so I feel like it's good for me to be there. So I'm having this internal battle. Should I move to Jamaica, or should I stay in Sweden? Should I continue to go back and forth? As of now, I'm going to continue to go back and forth, but what the future holds, I don't know. It depends all on where the music goes.
And as it regards to music and building here and taking back to Sweden, what have the challenges been? Because I know it can't be easy for, someone from a different culture, a whole different realm, to be in Jamaica making music and dancing.
I feel like that's, funny enough, the easiest part is to be here and doing all the projects. The most challenging thing for me right now is to be able to work as much when I'm in Sweden, because it's so easy here, right? So I feel like here it's easy for me to make the content, get the music out, create the music, and in Sweden it's sometimes a little bit like it slows down. So right now I'm trying to just do as many projects here as possible, so when I go back for an amount of time I can still release frequently, then come back to Jamaica, create, and then do the same thing, so that I keep the consistency, because that has been the challenge.
You make mention of your projects in Jamaica. What is the next big thing? What can we look out for?
Plenty of music videos. I'm so blessed right now. I'm working here at Street Blocks Record, and I'm working with Merrick and Kareem, and we have recorded a lot of songs over the past 2 weeks, and we're doing music videos, and I think the world can wait for more twerk songs and energetic stuff that's gonna run the streets.
Knowing the huge impact that reggae and dancehall music have on the European market, what impact do you think this will have on, the ongoing vibrant energy that we bring to Europe, with you here as a Swedish dancer in Jamaica taking our culture there?
I think the way I do dancehall is like the way Jamaican people do dancehall. And I think that Europe missed that part. We miss somebody that do that. Mm-hmm. And I feel like I can kind of fill that gap, which gonna make an impact of the dancehall, because it's like, okay, wait, this Swedish girl is going to Jamaica and she's doing their kind of music and she's bringing it back to Europe. Mm-hmm. And then it's just gonna have like a good impact from both ways, both to Jamaica and Europe.
It's a cultural dynamic, but do you ever receive any criticisms about cultural appropriation?
Yeah, definitely. And to be honest, there's always going to be people that have negative thoughts or opinions, right? But I do something that I love. It's coming from a space of love from my heart, and it's like I've been calling to do this. That's how I feel. And I look at it at cultural embracement more than anything else. I go down to Jamaica to work with people in the industry. So everything I do is coming from here. I put my money into the music to give back to the culture as well, because it is not a culture I'm born into, but it is something I feel like so connected to, and I don't want anything in my life than this.
Would you encourage more Swedish ladies who look up to you as a role model, or someone who, they're dancers, but they're not as fierce, to just be bold and leave the country to come here to, pursue their passion? Would you encourage them to do so, and why?
Yes, and I do. I did a trip last year, call it the TeeTwerk trip, and I have a next one coming up next year, January. So all my students I talk a lot about Jamaica and I promote Jamaica, and now I want to bring them here to feel the vibrant energy. So that's the least I can do.
Before you go, please clarify your name for us.
Yeah. So it's TeeTwerk. TeeTwerk.
Not TeeTwerk.
Not TeeTwerk. Me don't know about that. TeeTwerk, yeah. So it's TeeTwerk on all socials. So Instagram, TikTok, Spotify, YouTube, any platform.